let's talk Marco Asensio then, because reports in Spain, and this one comes from Transfer Tavern via our very own Dan Clubbe, who's been reading AS word for word to get it. So Liverpool are in a sensational move for Real Madrid forward Marco Asensio, according to a report from the Spanish outlet AS. So
BS more like.
That's his job. He's sitting right there.
That is.
It's unnecessary. He is a right winger. Again, he's another one. He can play anywhere. Again, go back to last season, go back to transfer market. He plays 42 appearances for Real Madrid. 30 of those come from the right-hand side. He's done a bit of a job up front, left mid, and as a midfielder as well, but essentially he's the right winger. We're always quick to dismiss these reports that come from Spain as nothing. And I'll be honest, I've sat on this show or variations of it for years, and Asensio's name's come up time after time after time. We've all just rubbished it. But do you think there is a world where Liverpool do sign another attacker this summer because for the reasons we've said, and go, actually, you know what, we probably do need one more. We've let Origi go, we're letting Mane go, we're letting Taki go. Yes, we've got Nunes. Yes, we've got Carvalho. But actually, we would quite like one more. Do you see it happening?
Yeah. I think it depends on how the Bellingham stuff works out. If you say Bellingham's going to be definitely next season, or we can
spend your money on an attacker that swap around.
Swap around, like I just said before, with the defender and the midfielder, where everyone kicked off, and we ended up getting a midfielder and a defender, but the other way around that we wanted. Yeah. That could potentially happen again, as Dan just said there. I think Salah will go on a free next season.
So do I. Yeah.
I don't think you're signing a contract because these things just sort themselves out. We saw it with Jurgen Klopp a couple of weeks ago. Mm-hmm. Good way for Jurgen Klopp to sign a contract. 5 o'clock that day. Yeah. Fucking, it's done. Nunes, interest next day, fucking done. Like that's how Liverpool do their business. And I stupidly thought it was Gini Wijnaldum.
It's feeling very Wijnaldum, isn't it?
He'll sort a new contract. Now I get to that point now where it's fuck it, it's done.
I think we're at the point where most, if they never give it to Sadio, why are they going to give it to Salah? I think we can safely assume Mo Salah goes next summer.
I'm also bored of it as well, by the way.
It is quite
bored of the talk. But that would say it's before, as I mentioned, the position of that right wing. If there's someone's going to fit that bill and someone that Liverpool can get in now, which would be, again, if Bellingham's going to be on for next season, then why wouldn't you go and do that? Because then you don't get to next season and then everyone goes, oh, you need a right winger. Yeah. Oh, you just lost Salah. I tell you what, it's whack another 10, 15 million pound on whatever that was.
Comfortably, yeah.
The flip side is with Asensio, we talk about the lack of pace. He's not the quickest, really, Dan, but he's we talk about age, he's 26, prime age. The fee, according to AS, as you translated brilliantly, for transfer to having there, 40 million euros, 34 million quid roughly. So essentially pretty much what we saw Sadio for, give or take the add-ons and all that. Jurgen Klopp still seeks to fill the vacancy left behind by Sadio's departure, and Asensio could be the man for the role. Like, I don't think it's going to happen, but I don't think it's absolutely ludicrous either that they just go and get another one, I'll be honest, whether it's him or someone else.
No, far from it. I think it makes a lot of sense. We talked about numbers a moment ago. We are essentially one down with the business we've done so far. Ross brought the point up earlier on. Net spend, once we've sold the players we believe will go Neco Williams and Takumi Minamino, won't be that much. So spending 35 million on someone like Asensio isn't a huge layout. That fee is also sort of the sweet spot where we like to spend, generally speaking. We occasionally go above that with Nunes and Alisson and Fabinho and what have you. But generally speaking, we like to be in that £30 million sort of region. Asensio, when he sort of broke onto the scene, was a superstar in the making. Like, he was going to be the next big thing. He's talking Ballon d'Or sort of things. He's had a terrible time of injuries, which might put us off, and that's really sort of curtailed his progression. But you mentioned it there, last season, 42 games, decent goal and assist output out of that. His form warrants itself and lends itself to a move to a big club, and not that Real Madrid aren't a big club quite clearly, but it certainly lends itself to a move to somewhere like us. And that versatility is sort of the big eye-opener for me. I love that sort of versatility in a play, and if we can get someone to replace Takumi Minamino like that, it's a no-brainer.
Yeah, so last season, just to go back over the stats that Dan mentioned there, 42 games, 12 goals, 2 assists in all comps, and again, a lot of that wasn't starts, whether there's a lot of subs on and off. Because it was a lot of Rodrigo, a lot of Vinicius, a lot of Benzema. He was in and out. He was in and out more than he.
So he's used to that as well.
Yeah, so it depends if he likes it or not. Again, speaking like Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain, he might want to get himself involved in terms of playing more. So yeah, of those 31 games, 12 of them were coming off the bench. 13 of them was the other way around. He started but got taken off. So he was never a guarantee. He wasn't like Real Madrid's first 11. You called it a no-brainer in your piece for transfer time, and you'd be all for this if they could do it.
100%. Yeah, and like I say, just because of that versatility, I think that's the key point for me. And I do believe we need one as well. I think Numbers-wise, like I say, we're one down from what we have been in previous times. We're about to introduce 5 substitutes. We've got the World Cup in the middle of the year. Likely, although you sort of surmise we could get Man City in both domestic cups and that be that. I think it's likely we go relatively deep again. I think we'll want to.
The flip side is we could get Man City and knock them out.
Well, of course, yeah. But we'll want to. I think we like to sort of play a rotated side, won't we, in the earlier rounds, and that could be difficult. It could be treacherous if you get Man City. We'll want to defend those domestic cups, and with the view to the long game, which, like I say, I think we can all agree is probably Mohamed Salah leaving. I think having someone lined up. We probably need to sign another one if Mohamed Salah was to leave, but at least we've got someone in situ already. Whereas if Salah left tomorrow, are we immediately turning into like a Cade Gordon? That's a long way off in my opinion, you know what I mean?
Again, it's the age thing, isn't it? You're looking at a kid or you're looking at...
Do you know what's mad about the squad depth thing as well? I think a lot of people are frightened by the rumoured power of City's squad depth, and Chelsea's probably were last season, because I thought Chelsea were going to be up there with it, contending for a title, and they were miles off it. The majority of last season, Man City played what a Gundogan, maybe a Sterling, Jack Grealish, obviously on the bench for most of it, and then after that was a couple of kids and a fucking Scott Carson. Do you know what I mean? So
again, it's injuries. Yeah,
I know, but also you forget that those teams can be in the same positions. As much as we're saying Liverpool could lose 2 or 3 midfielders and there'll be a massive drop off, Manchester City and Chelsea and everyone else in the Premier League is going to be in the same position.
Yeah. City could lose quite. You know, they've signed Haaland and they've signed Alvarez, haven't they? But like Jesus, Sterling could go. There's talk of Bernardo Silva going. They've just lost Fernandes. There's a lot of change.
Then there Calvin Phillips sort of talks and people like that as well. So there's a good chance they immediately strengthen.
It's pro. One way it is flip. It's pros cons. On Asensio, then just see we mentioned before. Like say, Elliott isn't the quickest. Maybe that's why he doesn't suit there. Asensio is not the same. He isn't slow. No. He's not. He hasn't got the rapid pace. But like I say, in terms of age, profile of club, price, he does tick quite a lot of boxes.
I think the only one that he doesn't tick, which Liverpool will have to fulfil, I think it is ultimately going to be a long-term replacement for Salah. Therefore, you have to somehow replace the majority of his goals.
Yeah.
It doesn't strike me as that.
No,
that
but who is?
Listen, I know, but like
he's won the golden.
If you're gonna do something different with Núñez, and he's going to be our main goal threat. Diaz, obviously, and then maybe we're starting to see the last season was that extra runner from midfield, and a lot of that was Harvey Elliott. Naby Keita can do that. Thiago, Fabinho got himself on the score sheet quite a lot. If you're getting goals from different areas, the pressure is relieved on your forwards.
If your aim is to replace Mo Salah's goals, like
no, I don't think all of them. But I think, more than half, I think you have to try and fulfill. If you want to be in contention for a title and all these other trophies, whoever takes that role has to score.
Yeah, I suppose what Liverpool will be banking on, it would be that Núñez does what Núñez does what Salah does and scores the majority of goals, and whoever's playing right wing actually scores what Bobby used to get, like in the tens. Just doing actually the centre forward scores goals, like Liverpool.
A clinical forward scores goals.
The forward, like Liverpool have been unconventional. Like Liverpool's goals Liverpool have come from wide. If it's going to be Núñez, which it should be, by the way, if that's what the plan is, if you don't spend 64 million up to 85 million on a lad who can't score, they expect he's going to get the goal. So I could see it, to be honest.
There's definitely a change coming on that, in my opinion. And there could even be a change that we haven't sort of touched upon here, which would really impact what we do in the market, which would be a change in system anyway with what we've already got in terms of going to that double pivot in midfield. I don't want to get too tactical on this show, but if you
didn't mention it, Chris Page, I definitely would have mentioned
but it really is there, because that would sort of alleviate a lot of the pressure on the midfield department that we're talking about as well. If you only need 2 of them to fill a role at one time, then that's a great then
you probably do need another attacker.
Then you probably do need, of course you can have the 4, aren't you? Then Núñez, but then that releases some of the pressure on Salah. So there's loads of different ways of looking at it. But if we stick to what we know, and that's the 4-3-3, I believe there's definitely a market whereby we go and do it.
And again, we rave about our fullbacks. They're essentially attackers anyway.
They absolutely are. Not a question about it. Hey guys, that was a clip from the first summer transfer show of the off-season. If you want to check out the whole show, it is streaming now on Redmen Plus. We discussed Jude Bellingham, Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain, Nico Williams, Taki Minamino, and plenty more. So yeah, head on over to redmenplus.com. That show is streaming now, both in video and podcast forms. I promise you won't regret it.
Don't forget to subscribe to the YouTube channel if you enjoyed that video. And if you want more from us, or you want to support the free stuff that we do here, then please do check out redmenplus.com, our Liverpool streaming service. It's like Netflix for Reds, where we get to chat to Liverpool legends, past and present. We've got great interviews there with Virgil van Dijk, with Jamie Carragher, with Phil Thompson, and loads more as well. Get closer to the fabric of Liverpool, the football club, and the city on Redmen Plus.